What's up, Petey? Welcome back to round two. Today I'm gonna make some Turkish style scrambled eggs. And then I'm gonna go a little chefy on some parts. So I'll let you know what things are required and what are optional. And again, I'll walk through all of my thought process. Okay, so for scrambled eggs with veggies, you need some tomatoes, jalapenos, onions or shallots. So shallot is like a small cousin of onion. It's a little more powerful, but you don't need as much. I'm going to use 2 of them. Butter, garlic, and then for spices, I'm going to use some sea salt, black pepper, cumin, and these are the essentials. The rest is going to be a little chefy, so I'm going to use some thyme leaves, some cardamom, a little bit of soy sauce, some lemon zest, and parsley to garnish it. So I'll walk through what all of these ingredients do and like where you can substitute and all of that. And then obviously eggs. And I have my pan just like chilling in the back. Okay, so let's do the cutting up. So like the other time, I'm gonna cut, chop, and then put things in the bowl. Okay, so let's cut up the peppers and onions first, because these will be the ones that are going in first. And what I want to do in this is like make a kind of a scrambled eggy dip kind of thing. So traditionally, like these scrambled eggs are really wet and they're eaten with bread or rice, so like you can scoop them up. So again, I want to make everything small, so I want to cut these small. So what I'm going to do with the peppers is first cut them lengthwise to get them like this. And now I have a flat thing where I can make little squares. So now I'm going to cut it straight and this way. And I'm going to cut these very small and tiny, just making sure. And the way that you hold a thing is you curl up your fingers and you hold it like this, so you can use the finger to guide your knife. And you hold the knife like this. So boom, boom. One thing about peppers is the seeds. The seeds are what contain the heat. So if you don't want something hot and you just want the pepper flavor, then remove the heat. But I'm going to keep the seeds because I'm not adding, like I'll have some black pepper in there, but there's not going to be any other source of pepper. So I'm going to keep the seeds in there just to make it nice and spicy. And also like I like spicy. But if you wanted to take the seeds out, all you do is you take your knife and you just bisect this right here, and then all your seeds just come out like that. Okay. Once again, if you're putting too much effort in cutting and chopping, you're doing something wrong. Like the algorithm would be like to keep subdividing it so you can get it to a place where you can grab and then chop. So let's chop this bad boy up. Ooh, ooh. Okay, these are actually really spicy. I can already smell it here. So, I might not add the third one in there. Or actually, let me add it, but let me de-seed it. Because otherwise it'll just get like stupid spicy. Which is also, not fun when you can taste it. So while I'm on the spicy subject, the reason why you use all these different ingredients is to create like a balance of flavor. So you typically want all of these in your meal in some form. A little bit of spice somehow, saltiness obviously, and that can come from different things. So like in this case, I'm actually not going to put much salt because I'll have the soy sauce, which is already salty, or fish sauce if you're making Asian food. And then sometimes you want sweetness, not all the time. And some acidity is very important, and some sort of fat. So our fat will be olive oil this time, and our acidity will be both in the tomatoes and a bit of the lemon zest. Okay. Now it's time to cut the shallots. In Britain they call them shallots. So shallots I'll cut just like they're sliced and diced just like onions are. They're just mini onions, you know, more concentrated you can imagine them as. The reason I'm using this and not onions is, again, like I want to kind of create like a dip situation going, and you'll see what I mean when I start cooking. So again, I want to make it, this time I want to make it like really small. So all of these, like you will want to, you know, really break these down a lot. So I'm going to peel the onions. Or sorry, shallots. Ooh. There will be scraps in the back. Let's see. Boom. Another thing that like pro chefs do is like they'll keep like a wastebasket near them, so they can just throw it right there. But you know, this is amateur hour. It's not pro hour. So again, I want to keep the root intact, just like how I did with the onions, because the root will allow me to chop these very, very quickly. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna chop these up real quick. Again, so I'm using the same style. We're gonna make these, you know, incisions all the way to the bottom. You're gonna take this, hold it tight, make an incision in the middle, and now just come from the top. And you know, you see how small they are? Itty bitty onion pieces or shallot pieces. Oh, these will bring so much flavor. It's gonna be dope. And keeping the root intact, making cuts, holding, slice in the middle, and there you go. Again, the algorithm is the same. You want to take that piece and you want to keep dividing until you get to the point where it's just one stroke away for the chopped pieces. And that's like, if I was cutting them slice-wise, that would be a different algorithm, because then I would have to get it to a point where the slicing is the easiest. If I was doing it like long strands or something. And again, curled up finger, knife, boom. And I'm putting these together because these are very hard vegetables, and they're very, very aromatic, you know? Like aromatic meaning they have a lot of flavor and smell. So I'm gonna put these together because they take the same amount of time to get their flavors a little caramelized. Okay, shallots are done. Cool. And then, you know, always keep a bowl handy. So I'll throw these in. And the way that this dish is, it starts off with this base. And this is actually a base for a lot of Indian stuff too. Onions, green peppers, garlic, and in Indian case, it's also ginger. And every cuisine kind of has its like base of some sort. that you make for the dishes of that of that thing. It's like Chinese uses a lot of green onions, especially from Sichuan. Mediterranean, they use a lot of ginger, garlic, onion as well, a lot of cumin. And this is what really brings that, you know, flavor. That transforms like an ordinary thing to like a really, really flavorful thing. Okay, so we're gonna have, let's do 5-6 cloves of garlic. Can't go wrong with garlic. And the start of the garlic is the same. You smash, and then you get the inside out. Ooh, smells good. Good leak. We do these 3 big cloves instead of the 2 small ones. Okay, so now you have all of this, and you know, garlic chopping again. You can keep it big, but I'm gonna keep it small. So finely chop it. And again, since I want to make small pieces, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that chopping garlic technique, going one way. So this way, you know, I have everything cut vertically. And then I'm going to come back around, as you'll see, and cut it the other side to get the really fine pieces. So this, and now I'm going to come from the other side. It's kind of like just a food processor thing, you know? Perfect. Again, I'm gonna keep the garlic separate. I'll see how the dish is going and like smell it and feel it before I put it in. We'll see how it goes. So the tomatoes will actually need to stew down to make a tomatoey sauce. So I'm gonna try to cut them really small. Let's see. This knife is like not the best for tomatoes. It's like a hardcore chef's knife. Tomatoes like they're a bit too much. As you can see, like they're squishing already. So you know, we're gonna break them down. You'll see in the pan too a lot, but so far it's still good to be small, so they break down easily as well. I made it a little bit tougher to cut. I will. They need a sharp, like long knife, not this like stocky chef's knife. And like this knife is not that sharp either anymore. It used to be. There was a time. You can re-sharpen it too. Also, a sharp knife is like very important. Out of anything that you do, a sharp knife will be the thing. Honestly, I think this is fine. They're going to release a lot of water too, as you can see already. Yeah, I'm going to save this one. Okay. And then finally what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my parsley now too. Just to like get all the prep work out of the way. So then all that's left to do is to cut. That is also another strategy that you should definitely use. And this is the plate that I'm gonna eat them in. So with herbs, it depends what you want to do with it. So I want to garnish, and I actually want like the full parsley leaves in my thing. Since everything will be small and kind of like a dip, I personally want that, full texture of the herbs to really come like in every bite. So I'm not gonna chop them. I'm just gonna take them apart from the roots. And again, this step is optional. Like, this is me being a little chefy and like, trying to be dope, but very, very optional. It does make a huge difference in presentation though, for sure. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep it big so I can have that whole chunk of flavor, that herb flavor. And the reason why I make that decision is since everything else will be small and like very flavorful, this will act as a very good balance to like all that flavor. And that's what it's all about. It's all about the balance. Okay, cool. We are done. Let's get ready. So I have my pan, and this is on medium heat. I actually wanted medium low. So I'm gonna start off with a bit of olive oil. And while it's still hot, I don't want this too hot. Like, I want these flavors to melt down, but just a little bit will be fine. Let's take our eggs out too. I'm gonna do 4 eggs. So I'm not gonna eat this with bread or anything, so that's what I'm gonna do. Actually 5 eggs. Like, I'm trying to low carb, so this will be my dinner. That's this whole plate. Oh, it already smells so good. Wow. Okay. So this is the step of everything should get seasoned. Everything. So first we're going to season this with some sea salt. With some black pepper. And with some cumin. Fuck, my cumin is running out. Okay. And actually, I'm gonna throw the thyme in here as well. Okay, I'm a little low on cumin. So what I'm gonna do is I have garam masala. So I'm gonna put garam masala in here. This is gonna make it Indian, but whatever, man. Garam masala has cumin in it. I'm not gonna put too much. There's already a lot of flavor in here. Okay. Yeah, these things have gone from the... So this is the like a Turkish Indian thing. The Turkish thing is called Menemen. I love that shit. It goes great with bread. Okay. So in Italian food, we would actually, again, we want each ingredient to shine on its own. But in things like this, Indian cooking, Asian cooking, and this type of scrambled egg, I want these flavors to all like blend together. So that's why I'm gonna cook them until they start getting soft. All these vegetables get a little soft and they start changing color. Keep moving them around. Ooh, smells good. And it's already reducing. if you can tell. Started with big chunks, now they're already getting smaller and smaller. They're losing their water, and the flavor is getting concentrated. That's the main reason for this saute, is you want all of this stuff to lose its water, so only the flavor remains. That's the whole point of sauteing. Okay, I think it's time for the garlic now. So to flavor it, I will be taking the garlic. Ooh, that is so much garlic, but that's gonna be dope. Throw it in. Ooh, man, that smells so good. Okay. So now garlic has been got in. Now we're gonna throw the tomatoes. And this is what makes this recipe Turkish. So in Turkey, these Menemen has this. The Israelis have a similar thing, so do other North Africans, called shakshuka. The difference is that shakshuka is all of this with some stewed eggs on top. Menemen is the whole scrambled egg situation. We'll see when we get to the eggs. Okay, so what we want to do with the tomato is like really break them down. We almost want it to get like mushy, so all of this to become just like a meld. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the heat a little higher. I'm going to saute. And to help this go along, now I'm going to put in a little bit of soy sauce. So this is a little chefy thing too. Soy sauce doesn't really go in here. But you know how I was talking about the different flavors? This is my soy sauce, but this is some dope shit. Like you can get some regular shit. So all the different flavor profiles in here. The salty, the sweet, the savory, the acidic. The soy sauce, just a little bit, gives it a very nice savoriness. Very, very nice. And that little amount, you don't really notice. So it doesn't change the flavor. Like I only put a little bit. If you put too much, then obviously it will taste like soy sauce. But that little bit will change the game and like really make it super, super savory. That's because soy sauce has MSG in it. Soy just has it. Other foods that have that flavor is meat, has a lot of, savoriness. It's called umami in cooking. Meat is very savory. Soy sauce, especially Parmesan cheese, is very much. So if I had cheese to put in here, I wouldn't put the soy sauce because my cheese would act as the savory ingredient. Okay, these tomatoes are starting to break down. now this is getting that stew-like consistency. That really dip-like consistency that we want. And since I added the soy sauce, I'm not gonna add any more salt into this. Maybe later if it's like, there's not enough, but I think it should be good now. Okay, and while this is cooking, I'm also gonna get my lemon. And then zest it. Again, another very chefy thing. You don't have to do this at all. I like the nice freshness and the kick the lemon brings, because you know we're already like loading this up. If I was putting like meat and cheese on it, I'll actually do this more. I want more lemon in here. And zest is very concentrated, so I'm not gonna put too much. Unless like more than enough. But it's gonna be good. Now it's like really breaking apart. And that's what we want actually. We want this break. Ooh my. Okay, this is the perfect time to crack eggs. So I'm gonna turn the heat down. Wait for it to get down a little more. And the eggs will bind all of this together and make it like a nice casserole-y thing. Okay, let's start breaking the eggs. I'm just gonna break them on top. Actually, let me weld this. So this way I get the eggs a little separated. So this is a very common technique too. You'll see this, I'll do this a lot. If I want something to stand out on its own and not take the flavor of everything else, you make a well in whatever you're making. Actually, 5 eggs is way too much. Let me do 4. Okay, perfect. And see, these eggs are not seasoned. I'm going to season them separately. So I'm going to put, because eggs actually need seasoning. They're not salty by themselves. I'm going to put some salt on it. And then some black pepper. And there you go. I'm going to scramble them so they all like mix with each other. And now I'm going to mix it with everything else. And we want to make a dip-like thing. So, let's see. The thing with eggs is like, you don't want to overcook them. You still want them to be a little creamy. And then when you eat it with bread, it's just like, whoa, man. It's too good. So like, I'm gonna keep moving them and stirring them so they don't set in one place. But you obviously don't want to like undercook them either. So actually, to speed things up, I'm gonna put it up a little higher heat. Usually you should do this on low heat, and low and slow is the motto, but I don't got time for that shit. Okay, so now like, you know, the eggs are trying to, they're toughening up. So this, as you can see, this is always eaten with bread, like a lot of crusty, good bread. and you kind of just scoop this with bread. So if you hit up like a baguette or something, or any kind of bread, you can use it to eat this. You know, I'm trying to get all the parts to be solidified. So this is the tricky part of Menemen. Actually, I ended up using the butter. It's enough oil in it, so forget the butter. Otherwise, the butter really kicks it up a notch. That's fine. So yeah, the thing about eggs is that they go from the right consistency, which is like, you know, kind of semi-liquidy, just very creamy, to like tough very quickly. And you can see that that's happening right now. So now I'm on like the watch to make sure that this doesn't get like, you know, tough and hard, and it still stays smooth but still being like properly cooked through, because we want this like dippable, you know, custardy consistency. And you know, if you like your eggs hard, then make them hard. That's up to you. It depends for me, but in this dish I really like them like this. Ooh, okay, so look, we're just starting to, all the liquid is almost gone. You don't want it to be too gone either. Remember what I said about tomatoes releasing liquid, so you know, they got plenty of their liquid in there. Oh, and this is just like right on the edge of being done. Okay, and now I'm actually gonna remove them now, because what happens is the pan is still hot, so they will keep cooking in the pan even without the heat. Okay, so after, you know, a minute, this is how they are. Very nice looking. So you can put a lot of this, like very customizable. Throw some sausage in this, throw some cheese in it. Let me taste them to see if it needs any more seasoning. Ooh. Actually, a little bit of salt. Well, that's very good. Wow, damn so. And just slight black pepper. And you know, the parsley that we cut earlier. I'm just gonna sprinkle that on top. Make sure to spread out the parsley. Again, you can chop this to small pieces. I want this in my food right now, so I want to keep it like this. And there you go. Menemen. Bon appetit. Eat with some bread. Ciao.